This is Minnesota Night Skies with Bob King and your host, Lisa Johnson, a monthly feature of Forum Communications.
Welcome to Minnesota Night Skies. It's August already. It seems like it was just June. Explain, meteorologically speaking, what happened to the summer, Bob.
Time goes by.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes. Um, right. Yeah, it does feel we're kind of approaching, even though there's still, while we speak here, more than a month left of summer. Yeah, it still feels like late summer whenever we get to even early August. So,
Well, it never used to when we were kids. You and I share a birthday, and I never remembered any kind of existential dread when our birthday rolled around. It was still summer, everything was still good, but now as adults, suddenly it becomes, oh, it's August, and the next thing you know, it'll be December.
yeah, unfortunately, adults keenly anticipate the future. That's our problem. We're worried about the past and the future. As kids, time feels more endless, less defined.
Yeah, I think we need to go back to being kids, Bob. That's going to be my job for this month, is to go back to being a kid.
All right, I'm with you on that.
It'll save me a ton of money on birthday candles too.
Yeah, that's right.
So, in addition to our wonderful birthday, the Perseid meteor showers. We have the Perseid meteor showers to look forward to.
Yeah, the that's probably the biggest thing that happens in the month of August. It's the maximum, the peak of the annual Perseid meteor shower, and that's spelled Perseid. And the Perseids are named that because they kind of diverge from the constellation of Perseus the hero. And he's out there hanging below Cassiopeia, the W-shaped constellation, in the northeastern sky this time of year.
So we've got the Perseids to look forward to. Is there a good time? Sometimes you can see things relatively early in the evening, or if you get up really early, and then there are things that you need to just be up all night to enjoy.
Yeah, the Perseids are kind of like a lot of showers, meteor showers. They're typically best in the morning when those streaming points, when the constellation is higher in the sky. And when it gets higher up, that means that any meteors that shoot from that spot aren't cut off by the horizon. So when it's low in the sky in the early evening hours, you can still see Perseids, but some of those meteors get cut off by the horizon. So the meteor counts are usually lower in the evening. Doesn't mean you're not going to see any. You indeed will see some Perseids. You can even start during dusk, kind of mid-dusk. And I'll give you the peak night. The peak is the night of August the 12th and the morning of August the 13th. And that would be Tuesday night, the 12th, and then Wednesday morning. So it's right in the middle of the work week. So a lot of people might say, I'm not going to get up in the morning. What can I see in the evening? One of the things you can see, especially if you have a wide open, unobstructed view, is something called earth grazers. Have you ever heard of an earth grazer, Lisa?
Yeah, I had one. It's called a horse.
That's a really great name. I love that. Well, there are other species of earth grazers, including those who roam the sky and graze across the top of the atmosphere. Literally, they do graze in terms of skimming. So what happens is that the meteors, the earth grazers, these are Perseid meteors that are hitting the atmosphere at a very shallow angle, almost skipping off the surface the way you'd throw a stone across a lake. And they tend to last a really long time and leave very long trails. I have seen a couple of earth grazers. One of them rose up from the northeast, climbed to the top of the sky, and it just kept going over to the western sky. It lasted, I can't remember, like 10 seconds or something. Unbelievable. So you can see these. They're not common, but they're visible just as it's getting dark early in the evening, say up until about 10:30 or so. So that's something to watch for. One of the things that's going to make this year's Perseid kind of put a crimp in it is the moon. The moon will be past full. It will be in waning gibbous phase, and it rises for much of Minnesota right around 10 o'clock or a little before 10. And that's just the time it's really starting to get dark out in mid August. And so that we'll be stuck with bright moonlight the entire night of the Perseid maximum, August 12th and 13th. So that will diminish the number of meteors that we see. It will wipe out all the faint ones and leave, get this, if you're want to put a positive spin on it, it will leave only bright ones to be visible. So just,
Hmm.
just a reduced number, not so many meteors as when there would be, say, a new moon and the moonlight not affecting the sky. You know how the moon will wash things out. So counts will be lower because of the moon. So if you can get out early, the moon will be lower and you'll see a modest number of Perseid meteors. If you get up late, you'll still see more, although the moon will be higher up, so the sky will be brighter yet. I just advise whenever whoever would like to go out wants to see the shower, if you are watching for a while, just lay back in a nice lounging chair, relax, maybe bring out something hot chocolate or tea or coffee, and just look up and keep your back to the moon. So whatever direction you face, just have the moon way off to one side or at your back so that you don't dazzle your eyes, which would prevent you from seeing additional meteors.
I think, weren't there a lot of Old West gunfighters that sort of had as a kind of a personal motto that they always sat with their back to the moon? It was probably because they wanted to appreciate meteor showers without the glare of the moon.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they were. Yeah, their observations. We have a lot of cowboy meteor observations. The
Exactly.
annals of the cowboys meteor observations.
Well,
No,
it's
that's
because it started with the earth grazers, Bob. You know, they
that did.
had a whole herd of earth grazers and they were
That's it.
trying to, keep an eye on them. They were singing their cowboy lullabies to them.
You know,
And
if that's true about the Cowboys, it does make sense because if you keep the moon at your back in front of you, you have a fully illuminated scene. You can see what's going on, right? So you can look out for the bad guys.
right,
Whereas if you
exactly.
face the moon, right, you're glared out.
You're
So,
just dazzled and then you become a werewolf. But that's another story.
well, I just think we should have made better use of cowboys back then. The astronomers should have gone out to the west and, so to speak, rounded them up so that they could use them for their meteor observation abilities. But anyway,
Seriously, though, can you imagine? I mean, you can probably imagine it better than I because you've spent more time in these areas with the dark skies and you've paid, a lot of attention to this dark sky issue. But
yeah,
can you imagine how utterly beautiful it must have been to be out on a prairie with nothing breaking your line of sight and stars from
yeah,
one end of the horizon to the other, and how bright and just stunningly beautiful that must have been.
yeah, before light pollution at all.
Yes.
There's still areas like that, of course, out west and in some parts of Minnesota as well. But yeah, they still would have had to contend with the same issue as we'll face for this year's Perseids, that bright moon. Can't get rid of that natural source of light pollution. But nonetheless, you can see them in the evenings, and you can even see them not. Let's say it's cloudy that night, and you think, "Oh man, I'm washed up. I'm done." No, you're not, because the shower will still be between one quarter and one half strength a couple days before and a couple of days after that August 12th date. So you can see Perseids right now and again if you're out at night, next clear night, because they're active from mid-July well into August. But the nights preceding the shower maximum, say from August 10th, and then after all the way through the 14th or so, great time to be looking for meteors.
Awesome.
And they do come from Perseus. It's in the northeastern sky, and you can always identify a Perseid, Lisa, if you just hop on it and go backwards. Just just follow its trail backwards. And if its trail takes you in the direction of the constellation of Cassiopeia, the W, you got yourself a Perseid. And
Okay.
yes, and what are, you might wonder where they come from. What's the deal with this stuff? What is it? What we're seeing are sand-sized, up to maybe pea-size, tiny rocks, fragments, particles that were sloughed off from a comet. This particular comet, that is the Perseids parent, it has just a single parent, is called 109P Swift-Tuttle, or we can just call it Comet Swift-Tuttle. And it was discovered by two astronomers. I
Taylor
think it's
Swift.
Taylor Swift and are there any famous Adele Tuttle? No,
Oh,
it
no,
was
no, darn it.
it
What?
was or it was discovered by Lewis Swift and Horace Tuttle. Um, and then it's a returning comet, So every 133 years it goes around the sun, and every time it does, the sun bakes it. It vaporizes the ices of the comet, and embedded within the ice are bits of rock and lots of dust that get spewed out into space around the comet, form a temporary atmosphere called a coma. That's what makes the comet's fuzzy head. And then sunlight pushes that material back to form the tail. And there it spreads out across the comet's orbit. And every August, the Earth crosses through the orbit of Comet Swift-Tuttle. And as we do, those bits of debris from the comet slam into the atmosphere, like I tell people, like so many mosquitoes hitting your windshield when you're driving around on a
Uh,
July night.
well, that's kind of disgusting, but okay. Yeah, so it's like all the fun of mosquitoes, but none of the mess or
None of the
something.
mess and none of the sting.
Yeah,
Our
gotta love
atmosphere,
that.
right? Our atmosphere protects us, of course, and these are very small particles, so they really completely incinerate when they hit the air. And they do not, it's often, I used to think this too, that meteors glow. These particles light up and glow because of friction when they hit the air, but that's actually not true. When you see a meteor, what it is a particle slamming into the atmosphere so rapidly, and in the case of the Perseids, that's about 133,000 miles per hour, it compresses the air in front of it to such a degree that the compressed air heats the particle and causes it to glow.
Hmm.
So it's like pumping your bicycle tire, right? You keep pumping and pumping, and if you feel, it feels warm, the pump, the tire. So the same thing is happening with these comet particles when they hit the air at such high speeds. And then the air in turn strips atoms from that little particle and ionizes them. And then when they grab back their little electrons, it causes them to glow. And then the air glows around it too because the particle is slamming into the air molecules so fast. So it's sort of a couple of things happening at the same time. And the combination of those interactions create a glowing streak of light that we call a shooting star or a meteor.
It's so awesome.
It is just it's a many things happening. You've got a big thing, you've got a comet, you've got microscopic things happening, all working together to make you go up and go, "Whoa! Look at that! Did you see that one?" That's what I love when people say, "Did you see it?"
Yeah,
And
and I
sometimes,
bet when you take groups out, either students occasionally, or I know that you take groups of friends out, I bet there's a lot of shoulder punching and oohing and eyeing that goes on.
yeah, I know. I need therapy after for all of the muscle damage,
Yep.
but no, it's so fun. I like I describe it as reverie, the sense of when you're looking up at the night sky, waiting for the next meteor, you sort of fall into a reverie where you're a little dreamy and anticipatory, and then the next meteor comes, and then the next one. So for me, I'll go out early in the evening to see what I can see on the 12th, night of the 12th, and then I'll set my alarm for about 2:30 and spend a couple of hours looking at from the lounging chair. Um, there is a great thing happening for those folks who go out in the morning hours. What time do you get up, Lisa, usually?
Usually it's between 5:30 and 6.
5:30 and 6. So if you could back that up about 1 hour,
Oh,
then
probably.
you can do it. And if you face to the northeast during this time, and we're going to say, I'll give you the peak morning on the morning of August the 12th. So not the peak morning of the Perseids. This would be one morning prior. On that morning, Jupiter and Venus, you look out over the prairie there and you will
Right.
see two brilliant objects, the two brightest planets right next to each other in the
Awesome.
northeastern sky. I mean, it's going to be like a sign, a symbol. It's going to change your life potentially.
Okay. All
You
right.
want your life to be changed, then I would get up
It's
at that hour.
I'm just saying that's the only view of the horizon. No, that not the only view, but that is a view of the horizon that is blocked by another house
Oh,
at my new place. It's not blocked by trees, but it's blocked by another
oh,
house. Now, if
sure.
I climb up the hill behind my house a little bit, I should be able to get a pretty good look at the horizon line.
Yeah, it's not at the horizon, so don't worry about that.
All right.
You just need an open view in the east. And if you look in that direction, starting anytime between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m., I like 4:30, that's nice. You'll see those too. On the earlier end of that hour, it'll be a darker sky. And then on the 5 o'clock end, the sky will be getting brighter as we approach sunrise, but it'll still be dark enough. You'll see them beautifully together. The several nights prior to that, Venus and Jupiter will be approaching one another and still be close, and several nights after, they'll still be close. So don't worry if it's cloudy on the morning of the 12th, they'll look just about as unbelievable on the 13th or on the 11th.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it's the two brightest planet, and Venus will be slipping under Jupiter. If you really want to get into it, you'll watch it a couple of mornings in a row because you'll be able to actually see how the planets move just in 24 hours time.
And we'll take just a brief moment here for a shout out to public broadcasting that taught us conjunction junction. And so anytime somebody talks about a conjunction, especially you, I mentally start singing that song. And we just need to know who we need to thank and who perhaps we need to send some support dollars to. I just got to say it. It's important to support public broadcasting
Yeah, I agree with you
because
too
we
on that.
wouldn't have
Absolutely.
conjunction junction if it wasn't for public broadcasting. So also coming back, Mercury returns. Am I a bad person that I didn't notice Mercury was gone?
Uh, well, in our busy lives, in order as we try to, make enough money to put food in our mouths,
Right,
it's okay.
right. Okay,
A lot
all
of
right.
people lose track of Mercury. It's an elusive planet because it's so close to the sun. It's only ever visible in twilight, and that would be at dusk or dawn. And because it's so close to the sun, it moves quickly. 1 year is 88 days. And so it pops in, grabs a handful of party shrimp,
Hmm.
and then it pops back out. It's gone. You're like, did Mercury happen? That's how quick it can be. So it's usually only visible for a couple of weeks every few months. And we're going to get a particularly nice view of it. Sometimes a year it's better visible than others, but it will be in the last 2 weeks of this month. So from the 15th through the 31st or so. And it will be low in the eastern sky about 45 minutes to an hour before the sunrise. And you'll probably want to use a stargazing app like Star Walk or Stellarium Mobile to help you find Mercury. So you can just hold your phone up to the east. You're out there. You're like, okay, I know it's in the east. I know it's about an hour before sunrise. I know I need an open horizon for Mercury. You do need kind of a horizon for Mercury because it doesn't get very high. Hold your phone out and it will show you on your phone where Mercury is, and that'll help you to know where to look. And if you have any difficulty finding it, because it does compete with twilight, then bring a pair of binoculars and just kind of scan a little bit in the area, and you should be able to find the planet. You'll have some help from the moon on August 21st. We had a very thin, really gorgeous crust of a moon. It hovers just a little more than 4 degrees. Okay, that's 3 fingers, approximately at arm's length, or one binocular field, just above the planet Mercury an hour before sunrise, low in the northeastern sky. So you got the moon there, you find the moon, and then just drop below the crescent, and you should see a star. And that's what Mercury looks like through binoculars or with the naked eye. It just looks like a star. Telescope will reveal that it has phases like the moon.
Oh, cool. I'm also pleased to report that after almost a year, I know where my binoculars are.
Oh, good for you.
I still
Keep 'em
don't
out in the
know
open.
where my mixer is and or my camera gear, but I do know where my binoculars are. So we're going to put that in the win column.
Oh, good, good.
Yes,
And you can use those binoculars again, if you like, on August 9th, which is, I believe, your birthday.
it is. I also believe your birthday.
And it is, yes, it is my birthday, and the Cosmos has arranged a special gift package for us on
Okay.
August 9th. You know what it is?
No.
It's something very large and very bright.
Well, it's not me then.
It is the full moon, the full
Okay.
sturgeon moon. So that occurs on August the 9th, and the moon will rise after sunset, then, roughly around 9 o'clock, a little after in the evening hours. So it'll rise into kind of a darker sky. So we should see, if there's no smoke, wildfire smoke, we should see that glow at the horizon, anticipating the arrival of the moon, and then it'll appear there just a little segment at a time. I've watched the moonrise and sunrise, and it starts out in the very, very, very beginning. It looks like a star, and then you see a bar, a little kind of a extension of that, and then it eventually becomes a squashed disk, and then that rounds out as the moon rises ever higher above the horizon. So that's on August 9th, the
Awesome.
full moon. Yeah, isn't that great?
Well, we get to spend the afternoon enjoying the Vikings' first preseason game, which is
Mhm.
frequently held in honor of us on our birthday.
Very
And
good.
then we get to go and watch the rise of the full sturgeon moon.
That's right. It was a good time to catch sturgeon, apparently, for the native peoples who lived around the Great Lakes. And so that's how it got its name. It also has other names, too. Another one that I enjoy is the corn moon, because I like corny things.
Well, there's a lot of it out here, I'm telling you. We've
Is
got
there? Hmm.
corn, and it's as high as an elephant's eye, and then
Eh,
some out here. Yes.
oh, corn on the cob is still my number one favorite vegetable.
Oh, awesome. It's a wonderful one. So, as we look toward September, it is marked in some ways by a dearth of things, no meteor shows, no bright stars, but you have plenty of time to get your tickets to Europe to go see exciting eclipses.
Yeah. It's actually, Um, we could, but you'd have to be in Europe or other parts of the globe. So, in terms of what we can see in September, though, you will be able to see Saturn
Saturn and
and
Neptune cozy up.
Neptune.
Yeah.
Yes, they do cozy up in the evening sky, and both of those will be at their closest to the Earth in the month of September. But yes, you're right. You have to, the total eclipse of the moon, that occurs on the 7th of September, but only visible really from the eastern hemisphere, not for our hemisphere, unfortunately. We'll have to wait a while for our eclipse.
Well,
But
we can go online and watch other people watching it.
we can sometimes, often there are live feeds for those eclipses. So I would not doubt but there will be a live feed. There's even, Lisa, just to get back to August, there's even a live feed for watching the Perseid meteor shower if you don't want to get out of your chair or get off the couch.
Or put
You
on
know,
shoes or pants, as the case may be.
yeah, no shoes or pants needed.
Okay,
There
good.
is a astrophysicist in Italy. His name is Gianluca Massi, and he is going to live stream the Perseids. And I will send you a link so that folks can check out that link in case, the weather's cloudy or they just don't want to go out because there's still too many bugs outside at night.
Well, yeah, I tell you, it could be raining. There's been plenty of rain. We have not
Yeah,
been
true.
hurting for rain. So it could be raining, and that might just be a wonderful thing. So let us talk again in a month. We'll be
Hmm.
talking about the marvelous month of September and then looking forward to October. And this is how we lose our summer, Bob.
Yeah, I know. That's right. If we keep talking this way in advance, it'll all be gone. You're right.
Jeez.
We have to live more in the moment, and then
We
we won't
really
lose the
do.
summer.
This show needs to become a little bit more Buddhist in its approach. So I'll work on that before we talk the next time. In the meantime, thanks a million, and you take good care until next month, okay?
Oh, thank you very much. It's been fun, Lisa. Take care.
This is Minnesota Night Skies with Bob King and your host, Lisa Johnson, a monthly feature of Forum Communications.